got started with dot product. So I think maybe you have vector product after this cross product. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, differential calculus, integral calculus basics given. Displacement, distance and displacement. I think we did up to 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 also done. Maybe we can try 2.8 today. 2.8 also I think we completed it in the last class. I remember doing it. 2.9 I think it's based on vector cross product, so we can try that. So IJK, I hope you have some idea about the vector product, right? A cross B. So maybe I'll show you some picture. Prasanna Devi last class topics lam படிச்சீங்களா?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have to use right hand thumb rule to find the cross product direction. So suppose if I have something like this, or suppose if I have a plane like this, and let's say you have a vector here and b vector here. So you have to put your right hand thumb rule. So that means right hand thumb rule போட்டாக்க your folded fingers will be like this. உங்களோட thumb பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இப்படி இருக்கும். And that is what is your thumb direction will show you the A cross B. Suppose நீங்க B cross A, if you try it, you will have to turn it around. So again, it's a little bit hard for me to show, but your thumb will be in the bottom. Okay, so நீங்க பண்ணி பார்த்தா தெரியும் B cross A. So that means this will be your B cross A. So that's your cross product. So last class we talked about dot product. So now we are talking about cross product. Another name for this is vector product. Okay, that was scalar product. This is vector product. And scalar product. Sorry, R cross product. So A cross B direction is given by this way, but the magnitude is given by AB sin theta. Dot product is cos theta, AB cos theta, this will be sin theta. Okay, that's all very easy, nothing very difficult here, and you will have to use the determinant methods to solve the problems. So for example, I cross J will become K, K cross I will become J. Okay, so you have to follow this circle. If I do I cross K, then I will get minus J. Okay, so if you go in the opposite direction, you will get minus. Okay, so that is what is shown here. J cross I means you will get minus K. Then this is your determinant. So go through these things. You can try some examples for you. Two vectors are given as R and F. Find the resultant vector R cross F. So R cross F, tau is torque. So R cross F means you have to write I, J, K, and then you have to write the R vector first. So that means 2, 3, 5. F vector 3 minus 2, 4. That's all. Do the determinant. You should use your determinant method. So it will be 3 by 3 into 4, 12, minus 5 into minus 2. So minus 10. And here alone, for j alone, you will get a minus j. Okay, this is in the formula, you have to remember it. And then you have to do this multiplied by this. So 2 4s are 8. Minus 5 into 3. So you have to leave this line. So that's a mathematical method. So 3 into 5 is 15. Plus k vector. So again you have to leave this line and this line. So you have to multiply only these 4 things. So 2 into minus 2, it will be minus 4. Minus 9. 3 into 3, 9. That's all. So I hope you have been introduced to determinants, matrices and determinants maths la படிக்கிறீங்க இல்லையா? So this will be 12 plus 10, so it will be 22. This will be minus 7, so minus minus plus. So 7j minus 2 minus plus. This will be minus 13k. That's your answer. 22 7 minus 13. 22 7 minus 13. Yeah. So basically what they are saying here is f is equal to ma. So fx, fy, fz is equal to max, may, maz. So that means fx is equal to m into ax, fy is equal to m into ay. So basically they are saying that it is equivalent to 3 scalar equations. Okay, mass into acceleration. Second one is momentum is equal to 0. So px, py, pj, so pz. So px is equal to 0, py is equal to 0, pz is equal to 0. Okay, that's what they mean by components. This is your simple algebra. You can try that if you want. So everything is j vector. So that means you can simplify it as 5 minus t, and this will be 6 plus 3t. So that means 5 minus t into j is equal to 6 plus 3t into j. So that means this and this are equal. So 5 minus t is equal to 6 plus 3t. Minus t comes on this side, so 4t. 6 comes on this side, minus 6. So 5 minus 6, it will be minus 1. So t is equal to minus 1 by 4. That's your answer. Okay. Yeah, that's what they have also done. Okay, so nothing very difficult there. Compare the components of vector equation. This is also very similar to what we saw here. So they just return f1 as f1x, f2x, f3x, that is equated to f4x. So basically what this means is you can equate all the x's together, y's together, z's together. That's the meaning of this. Okay. So nothing very difficult here. If you have any doubts, please ask me. Position vector is similar to your xyz coordinate geometry. Okay, so we can do some problems. Probably we'll get some idea. As the name suggests, position vector gives you the position of a point in terms of vector algebra. In other words, in the coordinate geometry, 2, 1. So it 1 into 2, 1 is 2. So 2, 1 அப்படின்ட்டு ஒரு point பண்ணிங்கன்னா coordinate geometry, in coordinate geometry we will just simply write as 2, 1. In vectors, you will show this vector, so this we call it as position vector. So that means you will write this as 2i. So this is a position vector r, and r vector is equal to 2i plus 1j, because 2i, 2 units in the x direction, 1 unit in the y direction. That's the meaning of this. Okay, so it's very similar to our coordinate geometry, but writing it in terms of ijk, it will make our calculations very easy. That's why we write it like this. You will study more about this in your vector algebra and your mathematics. Determine the position vectors for the following particles which are located at PQRS. So they are asking to find the position vector for PQRS. So P is here. So you see 1, 2, 3. That means it's 3, 0. So that means P is 3, 0. in coordinate geometry. In vectors, I would write it as 3i plus 0j, or you can skip this also. Q will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means 5 comma 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means it is 4. So 5i plus 4j. Very simple, nothing very difficult here. PQRS. RS 1 comma 2. So but it is in the opposite, in the negative direction. So that means you should put minus 2. In the y direction it is 0. So minus 2i plus 0j. QRS. S means it will be 1, 2, 3 in the positive direction. But J, it will be negative direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means it will be minus 6. So that is your P vector, Q vector. So you can call this as OP vector. O stands for the origin. So from O to P, from O to Q, something like that. So generally position vectors are given as OQ, OP, OR, OS. Yeah, so 5 comma 4 minus 2, 3 comma minus 6. Minus 2, 5 comma 4, 3, yeah, so everything looks good. This is a direct application in your directions. A person initially at rest starts to walk 2 meters towards north and then 1 meters towards east. So that means generally we will take this as north. This is east. So east, west, north, south. So that's the convention in our paper generally. So person initially starts walking 2 meters towards north. So that means 1, 2. And then 1 meter towards east. So that means 1 meter towards east. So he walks here and then he walks 1 meter east this way. Then 5 meter towards south. So 5 meters south. So that means 1, 2, 3. So 5 meters south means he's walking like this. Why? Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 kilometers. Sorry, 5 meters this way. And then 3 meters towards west. So that means this way. So 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meters. So 3 meters towards west. What is the position vector of the person at the end of the trip? So that means he started from here, he is here, which means this is your position vector. So that means the position vector is this one. So that means he has moved 2 meters in the minus 2i, and then 1, 2, 3, 3 meters in the minus 3j. So if you want, you can call this as P, This is O, so I will call this as OP vector or position vector of P. Okay, so very often you may get questions, simple questions like this. Yeah, -2, -3, that's what we got here. So what this means is the displacement direction is southwest. Why southwest? Because this side is north, this side is south, and it has come towards west, so southwest. Distance and displacement, very easy, right? I'm sure all of you are comfortable with the distance and displacement. Displacement is the shortest distance, right? Distance is the actual path taken. So right from 9th standard, I'm sure all of us are studying this. So maybe we can directly do some problems. Assume your school is located 2 kilometers away from your home. In the morning you are going to school and in the evening you come back home. In this entire trip, what is the distance traveled and displacement covered? So very easy. So this is your home. You are going to the school, going to your school. So this is 2 kilometers away. So very simple. So you go and then you come back. So that means displacement is 0, whereas the distance covered will be 4 kilometers. Okay. Nothing very difficult. If you have any doubts, please raise your doubts. An athlete covers 3 rounds on a circular track of radius 50 meters. Calculate the total distance and displacement traveled by him. So when you start from here and when you come back to the same point, displacement will become 0. So that means displacement is equal to 0. Whereas distance you have to calculate using 2 pi r. So that means distance, they say 3 rounds, so 3 into 2 pi r. 3 into 2 pi r, r is 50 meters. So 2 into 50, 100. 100 into 3, 300. So 300 pi. So 300 pi. If you want, you can simplify this further. So something like 300 into 3.14. So something close to 900, 900.1. So yeah, so slightly more than 900. Right? So that will be your answer. Yeah, so 942 meters. Displacement is 0. Displacement in Cartesian coordinate system means this one. So you have position vector for r1 for point p1 as r1. For point p2 it is r2. Then what is the displacement of r2 from r1? So that means it will be r2 minus r1, final minus initial. Okay, so this is called the displacement in two dimension. Again, all these things are mathematics, so it's very easy if you start doing the problems. Theory might be slightly confusing, but as you start doing the problems, it will become easier. Calculate the displacement vector for a particle moving from point P to Q as shown below. Calculate the magnitude of displacement. Okay, so very easy. So find out R1 and R2 and find out R2 minus R1, final minus initial. So R2 vector minus R1 vector. What is R2 vector? This position. So 4I 2J minus R1. R1 is 1 comma 1. So 1I plus 1J. 4 minus 1 it will be 3. 2 minus 1 it will be 1. So that's your answer. So displacement vector is this one, but then they asked you to find the magnitude of the displacement. So magnitude means delta R, magnitude will be 3 squared plus 1 squared. Whenever meters or centimeter nothing is given means you can write it as units, meaning it can be any units. Yeah, so 3I plus 1J, so you got root 10. Okay, so absolutely nothing very difficult there. Go through all these things. Differential calculus in your maths also you'll be studying this, right? So the dy by dx basically represents the slope of the curve. Okay, so maybe I can give a small explanation here. Again, you'll study more about this in your maths. For now, to apply it in the physics, they are given some basic understanding. So slope is nothing but how much tilt you have with respect to the horizontal. So that means at every point, right? So at every point the slope will keep on changing. For example, இங்க பார்த்தீங்கன்னா straight line இப்படி இருக்கும் tangent. அதே இங்க பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்கா straight line வந்து இப்படி இருக்கும். இப்போ இதுக்கு என்ன அர்த்தம் அப்படின்னாக்கா இது வந்து we called as shallower. This we called as steeper. So இது வந்து ரொம்ப மட்டமா இருக்கு. இது வந்து செங்குத்தா இருக்கு. ஓகே, அதுதான் ஸ்லோப்புன்னு சொல்கிறோம். நம்ம தமிழில் வந்து செங்குத்துன்னு சொல்கிறது தான் வந்து இங்கே ஸ்லோப்புன்னு சொல்கிறோம். ஸோ தட் மீன்ஸ் இங்கே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா சேம் டெல்டா எக்ஸ்க்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா வந்து யூ வில் ஹாவ் மோர் டெல்டா ஒய். அப்போ இதோட ஸ்லோப் வந்து அதிகமாக இருக்கும். So slope is defined as, you take a small triangle, this is shown here. So how much y is increasing for a given increase in x. That is what is called slope, delta y by delta x. In the angle pathina idu theta. So tan theta, so slope is equal to tan theta. What is tan theta? Delta y by delta x, opposite by adjacent. So இதைத்தான் நம்ம வந்து ஸ்லோப்னு சொல்றோம். பட் ஆனால் இது வந்து as it comes closer and closer, right, at every point இங்கே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா at every point it will keep on changing. ஸோ இங்கே இருக்கிற ஸ்லோப்போட இங்கே இருக்கிற ஸ்லோப் வந்து டிஃப்ரெண்ட்டாக இருக்கும். ஸோ we say that this delta x and delta y வந்து delta x distance வந்து we will take it as very very small. So that means there is something called limits. உங்க மேத்ஸில் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்களான்னு தெரியல எனக்கு. So we say that it comes closer and closer to 0. So delta x approaches 0. This is called limits. So we say that this is limit delta x approaches 0 means delta y by delta x is equal to your dy by dx. So what we called as dy by dx is nothing but when this value, when this delta x becomes closer and closer. புரிஞ்சதா புரியாம இருக்கா?
புரிஞ்சுது சார்.
புரிஞ்சுதா? ஓகே. மேத்ஸில் இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் அதிகமாக புரிஞ்சுப்பீங்க. பேசிக்கலி இது இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னாக்கா, இப்படி ஒரு கர்வ் இருக்குது அப்படின்னாக்கா, இந்த லைனில் வந்து நம்ம ஸ்லோப் எடுக்கிறோம் அப்படின்னாக்கா, நம்ம இந்த பாயிண்ட்லையும் எடுத்தோம் அப்படின்னாக்கா இந்த லைனோட ஸ்லோப் தான் கிடைக்கும். பட் ஆனால் அந்த டெல்டா எக்ஸ் வந்து இதுதான் டெல்டா எக்ஸ். இப்போ பட் நான் இதே டெல்டா எக்ஸ் வந்து நான் சின்னது பண்ணிக்கிட்டே வந்தேன் அப்படின்னாக்கா இட் வில் கம் வெரி க்ளோஸ். அப்போ இந்த லைன் வந்து இந்த சீக்கண்ட் லைன் வந்து இந்த டான்ஜென்ட் லைனாக மாறிடும். ஸோ தட் இஸ் த கரெக்ட் ஸ்லோப். அதனால தான் இப்படி போகிறோம், டெல்டா எக்ஸ் அப்ரோச்சஸ் 0. ஓகே, ஸோ ஸ்டடி மோர் அபவுட் திஸ் இன் யுவர் மேத்ஸ் ப்ராப்பர்லி. ஓகே, இங்கே வந்து ரொம்ப சின்ன இன்ட்ரொடக்ஷன் தான் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸோ மேத்ஸில் படிக்கும்போது எங்களுக்கு கொஞ்சம் நல்லா புரியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So this is your ஸோ சப்போஸ் இது வந்து எக்ஸ் டிஸ்டன்ஸில் இருந்தது அப்படின்னா இது வந்து இந்த பாயிண்ட் வந்து y of x. அப்போ இந்த பாயிண்ட் என்னது y of x plus delta x. ஏன் இது x, இது delta x. அப்போ இந்த பாயிண்ட் வந்து y of x plus delta x. ஸோ அதனால் இது வந்து delta y. What is delta y? This minus this. அதான் இங்கே எழுதியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ y of x plus delta x minus y of x. So that this is what is written over here. And இது வந்து delta x. So delta y by delta x வந்து இங்கே எழுதியிருக்கும். Okay. So this is the basis of derivatives. Okay. Derivative-நாலும் ஒன்று தான், differentiation-நாலும் ஒன்று தான், slope-நாலும் ஒன்று தான், tan theta-நாலும் ஒன்று தான். ஓகேவா? So all these things means the same. So கரெக்டாக நோட் பண்ணி வச்சுக்கோங்க. differentiation, derivative, slope, tan theta, delta y by delta x, dy by dx எல்லாமே it means all this one thing. இதுதான் வந்து இந்த ஸ்லோப்பை தான் வந்து represents. ஸோ இது புரிஞ்சிருச்சு அப்படின்னாலே மேத்ஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப ஈஸியாக இருக்கும். ஓகேவா? ஸோ கரெக்டாக படிச்சுக்கோங்க மேத்ஸ்லேயே. தியரி கொஞ்சம் வேகாக இருந்தாலும் ப்ராப்ளம் சால்வ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டிங்கன்னா ஐ திங்க் யூ வில் கெட் த ஐடியா. ஸோ ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ்லாம் ஈஸியாக தான் இருக்கும். Consider the function y is equal to x square, which is your parabola மாதிரி இருக்கும். So calculate the derivative of dy by dx using the concept of limit. So y is equal to x square naka, the parabola will look something like this. That means you see the slope is not same. நான் ஒரு லைன் இப்படி போட்டேன் அப்படின்னாக்கா இங்கே இருக்கிற ஸ்லோப்பு, இங்கே இருக்கிற ஸ்லோப்பு, இங்கே இருக்கிற ஸ்லோப்பு, எவ்ரிவேர் இட் இஸ் சேம். ஸோ தட் மீன்ஸ் த ஸ்லோப் ஆஃப் அ ஸ்ட்ரெயிட் லைன் இஸ் கான்ஸ்டன்ட். பட் இது வந்து ஸ்ட்ரெயிட் லைன் கிடையாது, இது வந்து இட்ஸ் அ பேரபோலா. இப்போ இங்கே ஸ்லோப் கம்மியாக இருக்கும், இங்கே ஸ்லோப் கொஞ்சம் அதிகமாக இருக்கும், ஸோ இங்கே ஸ்லோப் அதிகமாக இருக்கும். ஸோ இட் மீன்ஸ் அட் எவ்ரி பாயிண்ட் த ஸ்லோப் வில் கீப் ஆன் இன்க்ரீசிங். So the formula படி பார்த்தாக்கா you have a formula dy by dx 2 into x ன்னு போட்டுடலாம். But I think they are asking you to do using concept of limit. So concept of limit அப்படின்னாக்கா then you will have to use the limits concept. So as we said in the previous discussion, this length is, this location is x, this location is x plus delta x. So இது வந்து dy by dx is equal to limit delta x tends to 0. அப்போ y of x plus delta x minus y of x divided by delta x. Okay, இந்த இடத்துல y of x, இந்த இடத்துல y of x plus delta x. So limit delta x tends to 0. So in place of x I have to substitute x plus delta x. அப்போ இந்த இடத்துல I have to substitute x plus delta x. So x plus delta x the whole square minus y of x. That means I have to substitute x. Substitute now, again I will get x square divided by delta x. So simplify this, we will get the answer. So this simplify பண்ணோம்னா x square plus delta x the whole square plus 2x delta x minus x square. X squared cancels, so what is left is only this term. So I can take delta x commonly out in the top, so I will get delta x plus 2x divided by delta x. So then I can do cancelling of delta x and delta x. So what is left is 2x plus delta x is what is remaining. But since delta x is approaching 0, this is very small, which means your answer is only 2x. And that is what we got here. Suppose we have some standard formulas in maths, அது வச்சு நம்ம டைரெக்டாக வந்து ஆன்சர் கண்டுபிடிச்சிடலாம். Okay, every time we don't have to struggle so hard. But I think you have a chapter called limits and continuity. So அந்த chapterல வந்து mathsல வந்து இது வரும். Any doubts? An important concept, so try to understand it properly. உங்களுக்கு புரியறதுக்காக ஏதோ நம்பர்ஸ் வச்சு எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க, பட் ஆக்சுவலி த மெத்தட் இஸ் இப்படி தான் போகணும். நான் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணது இங்கே கொடுத்துருக்காங்க பாருங்க. In general, we obtain the derivative as follows: 2x. So the formula is nx power n minus 1. So this is the important formula. So as we keep doing it, probably we'll be using this formula. Find the derivative with respect to t of the function x is equal to a naught plus a1 into a2 into t square. As I said, d by dx x power n, the formula is nx power n minus 1. So that means if I differentiate this x with respect to t, here, even though we study this as formula in terms of x, here we will try to write mostly in terms of time t. So differentiation of a constant is 0. a1 into t power, this will become a1. Why? Because this will become power 1. So 1 t power 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1, it will become 0. Anything to the power 0 is 1. t2, again you have to put 2 t power 2 minus 1. So a1 that's your answer, dx by dt. Okay, so here you are differentiating with respect to x. Here you are differentiating with respect to time t. For your acceleration, velocity and displacement, all these things you will be using this. Integral calculus, again, that is also important mathematical concepts here, right? So integration, differentiation அப்படின்னா slope, integration அப்படின்னா area. Okay, so area under the curve. So very often we will be considering the area under the curve for two quantities. For example, displacement, velocity versus time will give me displacement. So the area under the velocity time graph will give me displacement. So அந்த மாதிரி we are more interested in the area under the curve. For example, physics, work done is defined as force into displacement. So it means you can do f of x dot dx and then you can integrate it. Impulse force multiplied by time. Average velocity delta r by delta t. There is no integration here. Average speed. Okay, let us do some problems and see if it makes sense to you. Consider an object traveling in a semicircular path from point O to point P in 5 seconds. As is shown in the figure, calculate the average velocity and average speed. So, 10 centimeter. So average velocity is equal to total displacement by total time taken. So total displacement is he has come from here to here. So that means 10 centimeter in 5 seconds. That means it will be 2 centimeter per second. Average speed formula, you should know it is total distance by total time taken. Total distances, you have to take this path, right? Not the diameter. For velocity, for displacement, we took this one. For distance traveled, you have to take this one, which means it is pi r. Pi into r. R is 5 centimeter, I think. If this is 10 centimeter, this has to be 5 centimeter. Divided by 5 seconds. So 5 cancels, so we'll get pi centimeter per second. Yes, 3.14 centimeter per second. So that means the speed looks higher compared to the average velocity. So displacement can become zero, which means average velocity can become zero. Suppose if this person comes back to the original position, then the displacement will be zero, which means average velocity can become zero. Okay, so that's an easy problem, but you should practice it properly. Instantaneous velocity means at every point. So that means you have to find the slope at every point, right? That's what I was talking about in the slope graph earlier. I did not talk about the integral calculus right now. Maybe if it's required, you can let me know and discuss that. I thought doing some example problems will, improve your confidence. So if I differentiate this with respect to time, I'll get 2y plus 3 into, if I differentiate this, 2 t power 1 j minus 5. So if I differentiate this constant, it will become 0. That means the velocity will be 2i plus 6t j minus 0k or plus 0k, doesn't matter. So that's your velocity or speed. So this is a velocity vector, speed is the magnitude of this. So that means speed is equal to magnitude of the velocity vector. So that means 2 square plus 6t the whole square, 0 square. So it will be 4 plus 36 t square. Okay. If you want, you can take 4 commonly out. So when it comes out of the square root, it will become 2. So 1 plus 9 t square. That's your answer for the A part. Calculate the velocity and speed of the particular time t is equal to 2. So simply you have to substitute it over here. So that's your velocity vector. Velocity vector magnitude will be 2 square plus 12 square plus 0 square. So 4 plus 144, 148, right? So that many units or units per second. They didn't say the units for speed, so you can say units per second. Even if I substitute 2 here, I should get the same answer. So 4 nines are 36, 37. So when 2 comes inside, it will be 4. So 4 into 37. 7 4s are 28, 2, 12, 148. See, you will get the same answer. Any doubts here? Prasanna Devi, புரியுதா எல்லாம்?
Yes, sir.
ஏதாவது புரியாமல் இருக்கா? கரெக்டாக படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கீங்களா?
Yes, sir.
ஓகே. ஸ்கூலில் எடுக்கிறது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டமாக இருக்குன்னு சொன்னதுனால தான் எல்லாம் பேசிக்ஸ் எல்லாம் எடுத்துகிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஸோ தெரியலன்னா நீங்கள் தான் வாய் திறந்து கேட்கணும். ஓகேவா? உங்களுக்கு அதான் எடுத்துகிட்டு இருக்கிறது. கரெக்டாக
Yes, sir.
கரெக்டாக என்னென்ன தெரியலையோ கரெக்டாக கேளுங்க. ஓகேவா? வாட்ஸ்அப்லேயே நீங்கள் மெசேஜ் அனுப்பலாம் எதாவது தெரியலனாக்கா. அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி நம்ம எடுக்கலாம் கிளாஸ். Yeah, root of 148 is what we got. Okay, I think it's already time. So maybe you can try these examples. Okay, நான் basics எல்லாம் நம்ம ரொம்ப மெதுவாக எடுத்திருக்கோம். So go through it and try these things yourself. Motion along one dimension, positive displacement, negative displacement, நிறைய கான்செப்ட்ஸ் இருக்கு. Relative velocity in 2 dimensionலாம் கொடுத்துருக்காங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். Yeah, my suggestion is நம்ம தியரி ரொம்ப ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ண முடியாத டைம், பட் we can do the problems. ஸோ ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் ட்ரை பண்ணிட்டு வாங்க. இதே தெரியலையோ we can further do it over here. ஓகேவா? ப்ராப்ளம் பண்ண உங்களுக்கு வந்து ஒரு கான்ஃபிடன்ஸ் வரும், எப்படி பண்ணணுன்றது தெரியும். அப்புறம் ப்ரொஜெக்டட் மோஷன் வந்தது. ஓகே, 236. ஓகே, ஸோ இதுலேயே வந்து இன்னும் ஒரு 15 ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ் இருக்குது. ஸோ அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் வந்து வி கேன் கோ ஃபார் ப்ரொஜெக்டட் மோஷன். ஓகே, ஸோ ஐ எம் கோயிங் டு ஸ்டாப் ஹியர். வேறு ஏதாவது டவுட்ஸ் இருக்கா பிரசன்னா தேவி? அதர்ஸ்?
No, sir.
ராம் பிரசாத், ரக்ஷன். ஓகே, ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ ஆல். பை.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.